Unidentified flying objects sighted near Royal Air Force bases, eyewitness accounts of aliens, men in black, werewolves and other terrifying cryptids, including a beast seen killing a German shepherd. And while we're talking about animal deaths, something very cunning has been mutilating animals. The way these poor animals were found suggests these heinous acts were not committed by anything human. Could this be the UK version of a Skinwalker? The United Kingdom doesn't need a ranch, by the way. It has a farm. And Dover isn't the only place in England with white cliffs. My name is Jenny, and on this channel I do my best to bring you the bizarre, the mysterious, the unsolved, and the downright creepy from all across this beautiful blue planet we call home. If you've had an experience you'd like to share, email me at the address in the description box below, and I'll include your story and any images you send in a video. I'd love to hear from you. Besides its beautiful white cliffs, Dover in the county of Kent has had numerous UFO sightings and is also known for secret wartime tunnels and an abandoned RAF base. However, we're going up the coast several hours away to the village of Bempton with its own white cliffs, abandoned Royal Air Force Base, and nature reserve. This quiet little village has reported all the extraordinary events I mentioned earlier, and there really is a farm that is similar to its American counterpart, the well-known ranch in Utah. And that's Pasha, my pug, snoring in the background. She's not a cryptid or anything, she's just a pug. Bempton is indeed a unique area with way too many mysterious events to be coincidence. I'm going to share 3 different types of paranormal phenomenon with you now. But before I begin, please help me get this channel going by giving me a thumbs up, subscribing, and hitting the all notifications bell. I appreciate it, and leave me a comment with what you'd like to see videos of. Let's start with strange lights. Witnesses have reported seeing one light appear in the sky and then separate into 3 or 4 individual lights. And as they're watching them, all the lights will go out and then reappear in another part of the sky suddenly. UK paranormal investigator Paul Sinclair says when you're in the area, quote, you get that strange feeling. You know you're going to see something odd. There's so many different sorts of things that cannot be accounted for, unquote. For more information regarding the Bempton lights, visit Paul Sinclair's channel here on YouTube. The link will be in the description below. As far as the many different sorts of things Mr. Sinclair was referring to, eyewitnesses have also seen triangle-shaped UFOs with lights emerging from the bubbling seawater it created beyond the cliffs. Back to lights, a different type of white light was reported seen in an open doorway at the abandoned Royal Air Force Base. It was seen going out of focus and disappearing into thin air. Another light, a strange blue nebulous light, has been seen in these remote fields as well. Not having a truly defined shape, it does have a mushroom-like form. Sparkling, exploding lights have been seen inside this mysterious blue mushroom light, and it's been seen through the years in different locations near the now empty Air Force Base, especially in the surrounding field. These lights have been seen by people who don't know each other, and they've seen these things while walking on the popular cliff path. People come from all over to walk along this path. The view is stunning. These witnesses all describe the same thing in 3 separate locations and have that same feeling of dread when they see this blue light. Orange lights have also been seen over the cliffs in this field. Up to 13 of these orange balls have been sighted at once. This orange light was captured on video over that same abandoned RAF base. Could some of these strange lights in the sky be coming up from out of the water, as with the triangle-shaped objects? Moving on to animal mutilations, most of them happen in the same general area, and whatever has been mutilating the local sheep, deer, and even badgers are tough. This thing is definitely not any ordinary predator. The attacks of the usual local predators don't match any of these mutilations. Whatever this is, it's highly intelligent and leaves no tracks. It goes for the neck of its prey, lets it bleed, and then skins it. In fact, a badger was found skinned with nothing left but some fur on the upper part of its face. Around the eyes, it resembled a pair of ladies' underwear. Sounds like a serial killer, doesn't it? Some are even missing half of their liver or half of a kidney, cleanly removed. This sophisticated predator has killed one a night, a few nights in a row, on more than several occasions, and oddly, it didn't feed off the dead animal or went back to eat any of it. In other words, it didn't kill because it was hungry, and not out of necessity. What exactly drives it to kill? An ordinary predator, such as a fox, which leaves nothing behind of the carcass, kills every few days because it makes the kill, then eats from the same carcass until there is nothing left, and then it's forced to hunt and kill again to survive. Usually, it takes a few days to eat the carcass, right? It's how it nourishes itself. This predator, however, kills for killing. Back in the 70s and 80s, there was a great deal of satanic cult activity at the old RAF base. People went missing during that time, so it was presumed black magic and satanic rituals may have been involved. We also know that black magic is involved in the American Skinwalker legend, where a good shaman turns evil and uses black magic, killing someone, usually a loved one, to become part of an evil secret society, attaining supernatural powers. Keep in mind, this is a remote area. It's basically fields and farms, so if it were a human, it would have to travel great distances on foot, under the cover of night, without a flashlight, to and through vast fields in order to make these kills. Basically walk to the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. This human would have to be stealthy enough then, after walking all this time, to sneak up on these animals. Remember, it's very quiet out there. There are no city sounds, no late night cars going by. It's just silence, or maybe... Then, after all this traipsing through fields in the dead of night, this person would have to find a herd, select the prey, have strength enough to catch and hold this hefty animal, and then kill it without the animal struggling. Remember, there have been no signs of struggle. And then it has to do the dirty work, the skinning, removing the blood, and then, after all this, then it has to have enough energy and stamina to sneak back quietly through those fields again without leaving a trail of blood, all the while carrying the skin of the animal back over the vast terrain without leaving a clue, no footprints whatsoever, no dragging marks, nothing. It has to make its way to a road on foot before daybreak. What human could do that? Could any human do that? It isn't easy to catch a sheep on foot, never mind a deer or a stag. Is it humanly possible to catch them while they're running and accomplish those deeds without struggle so neatly? Yet, whatever this is, it's doing it, and somehow traveling from area to another distant area. How is this humanly possible, I ask again? And these are healthy animals I'm talking about. A sick or injured animal could be caught without much exertion, perhaps, but these are healthy, robust animals that are being mutilated, very capable of running away. Whatever it is, they have to be caught by surprise. And these animals are heavy. It's not like they're lightweights. They're heavy. We know skinwalkers have superhuman strength. Is this the UK version of a skinwalker? Oh, and remember that farm I mentioned earlier? Speaking of skinwalkers, one of the strange occurrences happened there in June of 2017. There were several pens that would normally fit 6 or 7 sheep, not more than that. One day in June 2017, 30 sheep were found stuffed inside one of the pens, piled up on top of each other. Some were dead. The living ones were in severe trauma and pain. What terror did they suffer? What could possibly have caught 30 roaming sheep and lifted them into this small enclosed pen, piling them on top of each other? It's like you'd need a crane to do that. Remember, these sheep would be fighting for their lives to get free, so there would be quite a struggle with each animal. Adult sheep can weigh up to 400 pounds or 180 kilos each. There were 30 lifted over the top of the pen and then dropped and piled onto each other. There was no room. They were literally piled on top of each other. They were stuffed and suffocating. The ones on the bottom, I can only imagine what they went through. This is a very savvy and calculating creature, whatever it is. Are there more than one? Next, Men in Black. This was definitely a case of a good deed gone wrong. This account is from a man who was watching a dog for a friend who'd gone on an extended vacation. He was staying at the friend's house, After a few days, this man developed a routine with his friend's dog. Every morning, the routine was to take the dog out down to the beach so he could do his business, play, run a little bit, This was an enjoyable way to start the day, as the man got to see the sunrise over the sea, enjoy the waves, the peace of the early morning. Beautiful. Nice and peaceful. This particular morning, as he was out playing with his new canine friend, an unusually bright light in the sky caught his eye. His first thought was the most rational and common. It must be Venus. Well, that thought went out the window when the light began to move from one point in the sky to another, side to side, if you will. Moving in this fashion, it was obviously piloted by some sort of intelligent force. Whether it was manned or unmanned, it wasn't stationary like a planet or a star. He states that it moved in a very controlled manner. He tried to record it with his phone, but no matter how hard he tried, the camera on the phone just would not record the image in any form. No video, no still shot, nada. So what else could he do? He continued to watch the object go back and forth several times, and then he watched it go to what he referred to as the old pumping station or water station, where they used to pump water. Okay, so that was quite a morning. A few nights later, he's still dog-sitting at his friend's home. He's been there about a month, so he's accustomed to all the neighborhood sights and sounds, the routine of the neighbors, the creaks and groans of the house itself. He's got it down. He's familiar with everything. He's watching TV in the living room, and he starts to feel like he's being watched. It's very creepy. That creepy feeling. So he looks towards the door, and it was as if someone were watching him through the window. He could see someone there, and that whoever it was wearing a hat like Zorro would wear, like from the old TV show Zorro. It was a very strange, unusual hat for that area. No one wore hats like that. So he looked again, and the figure was gone. So he decides to send the dog out. Something I would never do, just saying. I'd never send an animal out if I suspected danger, but that's me. Had to add my 2 cents in. I understand he thought someone might have been trying to break in and that the dog would scare him away. The dog barked a few times. So he decides to leave the dog outside as a deterrent. As he's about to close the door, he decides to go back out again. He looks around the neighborhood. There wasn't anyone in sight. No one walking by. Nothing. All was quiet. A few nights later, around 8 p.m., the doorbell rings. He gets up to go to the door, and through that same window he could see a reflection, and now it looks like 2 police officers. He's wondering if maybe they're going door to door, maybe looking for someone, whatever. As he opens the inside door, he was stunned. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He had heard about men in black, but really? They were real? What are the odds of having them come to the house you're staying at while you're dog-sitting for a friend for a month? Who does that happen to? Standing at the inside door, the man carefully opens the outside door a smidge, so it's kind of like he opened it up just like a crack, as if you're speaking to someone you don't want to talk to. And he says to these 2 odd-looking men, "Yes, can I help you?" And they answer him, and it's the last thing I'd want to hear. They say, "Yes, we've come to see you." So he's like, "Yeah, why? Why?" One of the men whispers, "Because you've been seeing things you shouldn't have been seeing." The guy plays dumb and asks, "What do you mean?" Cryptically, the reply was, "You know. You know." And then there was a little bit of a pause. So during this pause, this whole exchange, it's a few seconds really, he was really looking at their faces, trying to memorize what he could. He says the skin was very smooth, no hair, no wrinkles, no eyebrows, nothing. And their eyes were black, really jet black. It was still light out, and he couldn't wait to shut the door. He was terrified. Later in an interview, he said that when you look at them, you wonder if they're going to take you. Your mind goes crazy. Are they going to take me away? Am I going to disappear? This can't be real. It can't be happening. You just don't know. He says he was so scared he was shaking. So all of these fears went through his mind in that brief pause. And then the man in black said, "We're watching you from now on." They turned around in slow motion and walked away. So he shuts the door as quickly as possible, dashes upstairs to see if he can see them leaving. He wanted a better view, of course, and they were just gone. There was no car, no one was walking on the street, there was no sound of a car leaving. It was as if they vanished into thin air. Now once again the dog had been left out, so when he went back downstairs, the dog was still barking outside. Really, really barking. He lets the terrified dog in. They're both terrified. They didn't leave each other's side all night. They were both petrified. You know it's bad when the dog won't go outside to chase anything? When it's something so scary the dog stays by you? That's not good. That's what happened. Stay tuned to this channel for more accounts of the strange and creepy from all around the world. And if you plan to go out night crawling for cryptids or squatching, make sure you take along a thermal camera so you can see what's out there that your eyes can't see. Available for your Android and iOS phones, they're compact and easy to carry, so they won't be in the way as you're running for dear life back to the car. I'll see you in the next video.